Hi everyone, welcome back to today's video. For today's video, I'll be showing you guys on how to crochet this granny square bucket hat that I tried to recreate from Red Velvet Joy's first solo music video. This video is part 2 of the video, so if you guys haven't watched part 1 of the video, I'll put the link in the description box below. So from part 1, you would have already made 5 granny squares, and for part 2, I'll be showing you guys on how to join the granny squares together. Here with me are 2 granny squares, and I'll be showing you guys on how to determine which part is the top part of the granny square and which part is the bottom part. So you'll notice that the top and the bottom are made of single crochets, whereas at the sides, the bottom starts to widen because of the double crochets. But do not worry, this is done on purpose so that it can fit our forehead better. So we will first look at the top left of the granny square, and if you see at the top left at the edge here, there are 4 stitches that is caused by the 4 single crochets that we made earlier. And we would start from the stitch number 2. And so you would put the crochet hook into stitch number 2, and here you would take another granny square and you would also insert the hook to the second stitch here. Make sure that you are joining the granny square from the top side of the granny square. And so basically what I would be doing is, I would be doing a single crochet along this line here, and these are actually the front side of it. So the single crochet would end up facing the outer part of the hat. So I would first grab the green yarn and pull the green yarn through both stitches of the second stitch of the granny squares. And then I'm going to form a chain 1, and I would tie the green yarn together so that it doesn't come loose. You would then insert the hook back into the same stitch to do a single crochet. So over here, I'm trying to hide the shorter end of the yarn as I do the single crochet. But if you're unable to do this, that is fine also. You can just weave it in later on. So you would then insert the crochet hook to the next stitch and pair it up to the stitch of the other granny square, and you would do another single crochet. So continue to pair up the stitches of the 2 granny squares for the single crochet. In total, you would do 20 single crochets. So continue to pair up the stitches as you do 20 single crochet in total. I'll meet you guys towards the end of this part. So I ended up using 3 out of the 4 stitches of the bottom edge to do the single crochet. If that is too troublesome for you to look out for, you just need to make sure that you have 20 single crochet. And so after that, I would just chain 1 and I would cut the yarn. Pull through the yarn and you are done with joining the 2 granny squares together. So this is how the granny square would look like once you have joined them together. So now to tidy up the yarn, you can weave in the yarn. But since just now I've already hidden the yarn, I can just cut off this yarn over here. And for the other yarn, I'm going to weave it in. After weaving in the yarn, I cut it and This is how your granny square would look like once you have joined them. So you would continue by joining the other two granny squares together and to basically form like a circular shape for 4 granny squares. And so basically your granny squares would look something like this, and you're forming a circular shape with it. And so once you're done, you are left with 1 granny square. And then we are going to start from the top left, and we are going to insert the crochet hook to the 3rd stitch of the edge. Then make sure that you are joining this granny square to the top of the 4 granny squares, and you would insert your crochet hook to the stitch here. So basically it's the stitch that has the green yarn that was caused by the single crochet earlier on. So you would use another green yarn and pull through the green yarn through both stitches to join the granny square together. And then you would do chain 1 and you would tie the green yarn together. Then you would use the crochet hook and go back to the same stitches earlier on. So you would use that same pair of stitch and do a single crochet. You would then go to the next stitch and pair up the stitches together by doing a single crochet. So continue to do single crochets and pairing up the stitches together. So basically, for the top of the bucket hat, you would just continue to do single crochets. But I would just like to highlight that at the corners of the hat, make sure that you do not miss out the 2 stitches at the corner. They are basically stitches that you have used when you joined the sides of the granny square earlier on. So remember to also use up the stitch that already has a single crochet just now. So it's here. This stitch, do not miss that out. I will meet you guys towards the end of joining the top of the bucket hat. So once I reach the edge here, I would just do a slip stitch. And then I would chain 1 and I would cut the yarn. Make sure that there is a bit of length left behind so that you can weave it in later on. And you would pull the yarn through. And so we are done with joining the top of the bucket hat. So now I'm just left with weaving in the rest of the yarn. Once you are done with weaving in the yarn, we are done with the main body of the bucket hat. And now I'll be showing you guys on how to crochet the brim of the hat. So we are going to work around the bucket hat shown here, and we are going to use the crochet hook and insert it to the corner stitch over here. So it's basically the stitch that we ended our single crochet for the side of the bucket hat. So make sure that you insert to the most corner stitch. And then you would do a chain 1 and then tie the green yarn together so that it doesn't become loose. You would then insert the crochet hook back to the same stitch and do 1 single crochet. And then to the next stitch, you would do 2 single crochet. And then to the next stitch, you would do 1 single crochet. And to the next stitch, you would do 2 single crochet. So basically for the brim, you will continue to repeat this pattern of 1, 2, 1, 2 single crochet. So once again, I would just like to highlight that you shouldn't forget to include the stitches at the corner here. So remember to include those stitches too when you do the 1, 2, 1, 2 single crochet. And so I would just continue doing this round, and I will meet you guys once I'm done with this round for the brim of the hat. So I've reached the end, and I would just do a slip stitch to finish this round of the brim of the hat. But what I would do for the slip stitch is that I would use a purple yarn to complete the slip stitch. I would next tie the green yarn and the shorter end of the purple yarn together so that it doesn't come loose. And I would also cut the green yarn as we no longer need it. And so next, I would do chain 1 with the purple yarn. And then I would do a single crochet. And I would then skip a stitch before going to the next stitch and do 5 double crochet. And then I would also skip a stitch, and then the next stitch I would do 1 single crochet. So basically throughout this, you would repeat like 1 single crochet and then skip a stitch, and then to the next stitch you will do 5 double crochet and then skip a stitch, and then continue again with 1 single crochet. So you will continue to repeat this pattern. I will meet you guys again towards the end of this round. So I would end with a 5 double crochet, and then there would be a stitch that is meant to be the skip stitch. And so after the 5 double crochet, I would just do a slip stitch. And so we are done with round 1 of this pattern. And then for round 2, I would start with a chain 2, and then I would go to this stitch here and do 3 double crochet. I would then skip 2 stitches and do a single crochet to the next stitch. So note here that I'm doing the single crochet to the most highest point of that floral pattern. And then I would skip another 2 stitches and do 5 double crochet to the next stitch. I would then skip another 2 stitch before doing a single crochet. So basically the pattern would be like a single crochet and then skipping 2 stitch and then doing 5 double crochet, and then you would skip 2 stitches and then you would again do single crochet. So basically it's just a repetition of the pattern for this second round. I will meet you guys once you are nearing the end of this round. So here I did a single crochet and then skipping 2 stitches, I would reach the start of the round 2. And so basically to that stitch over here, okay, to the same stitch where we started just now, we are going to do 2 double crochet. And so to the left we have 3 double crochet, to the right we have 2 double crochet. And we are basically going to do a slip stitch to the end of the chain here. So just now we did chain 2 at the start, we are going to do a slip stitch to that chain to finish round 2. And now moving forward to round 3, you would do a chain 1 and do a single crochet. And then you would skip 2 stitches and then do a 5 double crochet to the following stitch. And then you would skip another 2 stitches. So basically the pattern for this would be a single crochet, skipping 2 stitches, do a 5 double crochet, skipping 2 stitches, and then you would do another single crochet, and then the cycle continues. I will meet you guys towards the end of this third round. So here I ended with 5 double crochet, and then skipping 2 stitches you would reach the start of this round 3. So you would do a slip stitch in order to end round 3. And then for round 4 we are going to start with a chain 2, and then to that stitch here we are going to do 3 double crochet. And then after skipping 2 stitches, you would start with a pattern of 1 single crochet, skip 2 stitches, and then do 5 double crochet, and then skipping 2 stitches. And then you would start again with a single crochet, so the cycle will repeat itself. I will meet you guys towards the end of this round. So I would end with a single crochet, and then skipping 2 stitches, I would have already reached the start of round 4 again. And so to that same stitch where I started, I would do 2 double crochet. And so similar to round 2, we have 3 double crochet to the left and 2 double crochet to the right. And we are going to join the 2 groups of double crochet by doing a slip stitch to the chain. We would use a green yarn to complete the slip stitch. And then tie the shorter end of the green yarn with the purple yarn so that it doesn't come loose. And then you would just do a chain 1 and do a single crochet to each of the stitch. So do this for the entire round. I will meet you guys once you are nearing the end of this round. And so to complete this round, you would just do a slip stitch. And then we would do chain 1 and then cut the green yarn. Make sure that there is enough for you to weave it in later on, and then pull the yarn through. And we are done with completing the bucket hat. What is left for us to do is just to weave in all the remaining bits of the yarn. So this is how your bucket hat will look like once you have done the weaving in. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I personally myself enjoyed making the bucket hat, and I hope you love it too. I would love to see your creation, so do remember to tag me on Instagram so that I can see what you have done. If you enjoyed today's video, please also remember to like and subscribe, and see you guys next time. Bye!